Okay, so it's gonna take forever, but let's see if we can do this. I don't understand. New revelations from Jennifer McCabe's cell phone must reverse the trajectory of this case. The new revelations of Jennifer McCabe's cell phone must reverse the trajectory of this case. And this was a directed to Brian Albert. Evidence obtained from the analysis of the complete forensic image of Jennifer McCabe's cell phone, which the Massachusetts State Police and Norfolk County District Attorney withheld from the defense for more than a year, exculpates, misread, and decisively implicates Jennifer McCabe and Brian Albert in the murder of John O'Keefe. And despite the fact that John O'Keefe was found dead in front of the lawn of Boston police officer Brian Albert, a highly trained boxer and a fighter with deep familiar personal ties to the Canton Police Department and the Massachusetts State Police, law enforcement has utterly failed to treat Mr. Albert and his family members who were present the night in question as suspects. Instead, law enforcement immediately arrested Miss Reed based on a small part incriminating a statement attributed to her by one of the actual conspirators in the Jane McCabe, Brian Albert's sister, Jennifer McCabe. As this court is aware, hold on. This is an old motion. I don't know. I don't remember having this or reading this. But this is where I'm trying to get to. I'm going to see if I can flip. Surveillance GIF and going phone call to brother-in-law and Jonathan answer and subsequently deletes the record that call. 607 and 608. Someone were subsequently deleted right now. Individuals notified that O'Keefe was lying unresponsive, mere feet away from their lawn. Now we're going to apply. I want to go back to where I was. So this is kind of funny because let me see something. So if I do, oh my gosh, that was not at 6:04, it was at 6:03. The defense has an incomplete recording of the 911 call placed by Jennifer McCabe on January 29th at approximately 6:04. We are therefore requesting a copy of the entire audio recording of this phone call. Why wouldn't they? At this point in time, why wouldn't they have? Jesus. On June 10th, 2022, the Commonwealth filed a Commonwealth Notice of Discovery, which included the itemized list of discovery materials which were purposely produced to defense. Let me see something because I want to see something. I want to see if it stops on the redacted portions of it. I want to see where does it. Yep, I figured. So it was pretty much her name that was redacted. Yep. How funny. Oh my God. These people are such idiots. They don't understand that you can do this. And actually, let's see if Higgins' name was redacted at some point. Before, let's see. Higgins, Brian Higgins. Let's go back one. Oh, wow. supposedly went to complete administrative work at the Canton Police Department around 1:30, and Colin Albert returned home to his parents' residence at approximately 12:30. Yet none of these individuals, not one, claims to have seen Mr. O'Keefe's body as found in Brian Albert's front yard. Berkowitz had been called by ATF. Oh, Brian Albert. Wait. The investigation of the crime scene, however, did not stop here. According to Detective Michael Lank, testimony before the grand jury on February 4th, 2022, one full week after Mr. O'Keefe's passing, Kenneth Berkowitz, the chief of Canton Police Department, purposely drove by the Fairview residence on a whim and saw from his moving vehicle an additional piece of red plastic that was consistent with the taillight of Miss Reed's vehicle. It is worth recalling that this was a scene that had been searched and researched and searched again by no fewer than It is worth noting that one of the officers under the chief's command, Kevin Albert, is Brian Albert's brother. Berkowitz had been called by ATF Brian Higgins, who was in the house when O'Keefe was murdered immediately after the killing. Lank explained nobody called the chief. What? Wait. Detective Lank testified the chief of police, when notified the Massachusetts State Police to report that he had what he had discovered. Detective Lank testified that the chief of police then notified the Massachusetts State Police to report what he had discovered. He's talking about the taillight. Before state troopers arrived, before had already responded to the scene for he found grand jurors specifically inquired after why the chief of police had responded to Fairview residents and how he discovered the evidence. Detective Lank explained nobody called the chief. When an incredulous grand juror specifically inquired about as to why the chief of police had responded to the Fairview residents and how he discovered the evidence, Detective Lank explained nobody called the chief. When pressed further by the juror as to why he just wandered over there, Detective Lank recounted through hearsay he was driving down Fairview Road and saw it, the evidence. Equally suspicious is that Brian Higgins testified that his close personal friend, the chief of police, Ken Berkowitz, called Higgins for some unknown reason at early morning of January 29, 2022, just before Brian Albert notified Higgins that Mr. O'Keefe had been found dead in his front yard. Chief Berkowitz responded, and convenient involvement in an investigation that is outside his jurisdiction should, at the very last, raise eyebrows, especially considering his close ties with January 29th occupants of Fairview Road, 34 Fairview Road. Well, that's interesting. Let's see something. It's gonna take a minute. Let's do something else. I want to go and show you guys the reason why I decided to do this. So let's go to page. I think it's, in case you guys didn't know, and I'm gonna stop for a minute and say hello and let you guys know what I'm doing, but let me get to where I'm going. Let me see what Laura McLaughlin says. Is this? Yes, this is where we want to be. So let me see if you guys can hear me and everything is okay. And I'm going to share the screen. And if there is any audio, we're going to share that too. Okay, here we go. Welcome, everybody. I'm going through this document, and it is a huge dump. I decided to do it with some company because it's been a drag. I've been going through it for the last 3 days since I got it. And can you guys hear me okay? I don't even have my headphones on. We can see too. Hey, hi. Good, everybody is listening. Are you reading the document? I am going to let you all see all the documents that were involved in this last dump. I'm going to go to the one that raised my attention. Hey, sweetheart, because hey, D-Mart, and I already found very telling information, and nobody wrote. This is pretty much. So there was a last dump, FOIA dump, that came from. Oh, good. I didn't even know that that could be possible, but I'm not wearing any headphones or anything, and you guys can hear me and you guys can see. I'm going to try to just go to the other side, but I'm gonna keep an eye on you guys on the on another device and see if you guys actually say something or write something to me. I'm gonna check it on another because it's going to be hard for me to maneuver with this thing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep an eye on your comments on a different device, okay? But I'm not going to be watching the screen where you guys are at. I'm going to go to where I'm trying to audit and analyze these documents. So if for some reason, sometimes it taps out, like it times out, we were able to hear you. Sound is really? Had I known that, I would have just dropped all these devices that I have had in my ears and everywhere. Oh, cool. That is so cool. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go to this document. Do you guys see it? I guess I can make it a little bigger. Hold on one second. You're good. We're just about to start. I was playing with all these things and trying to put them together. Let's see if that is. Well, actually, I can see it here. Let's see if that makes it better. And this is the affidavit that Richard Green wrote back in the day. This is all related to the original case, the 00117 case, Karen versus the Commonwealth, or the Commonwealth versus Karen. And okay, wait, don't time out. Is she reading a report from? I am lost. What document is she reading? Okay, so there was a FOIA dump that was shared again by Corey Hopkins, and it was shared on Twitter, and it came on a sort of like a zip file, right? It was a long, freaking huge file, and it had to download. You couldn't do it in the computer, so it has a lot of information within the actual files that are comprised within this file, the extraction. So I had to extract it, and then I had to make it available in different areas so I could scrutinize it. There are some voice and some WAP files in it too, and I'm still. You guys know I'm handicapped. Be gentle with me. I'm dealing with one hand, but that's where it's coming from. In one of the files is called Email Correspondence Redacted PDF, and that's the one that we're in. That one includes the affidavit from Richard Green that he submitted back in the day, and we were looking at that video the other day when he was talking about what do you call it? From the courts. These are court documents that were recently attained through the Freedom of Information Act that attorney Corey Hopkins submitted. And there are a couple of people that are sharing the links of all these findings on X. And Lana should have it too. I'm sure that she has it. I sent her the link. You sent her the link too, Charity, didn't you? Because we've had it. So these are all court documents. In this case of this one, in the case of this one, this is an affidavit that comes from Richard Green, who was one of the experts that provided his expertise or his experience, right? His testimony during the trials, during trial 1, back in April, May 2024. Yes. So we played a little clip on the prior show of Richard Green, and I compared them with the expertise of Ian Whiffin. And this guy had been involved since 2013 in data forensics, had gotten an associate's degree in data forensics, had been involved and working and had a successful company. And it was Attorney Little who reached out to him to see if he could render an opinion in regards to the 227 40 deletion on Jen McKay's fund. So he only made an appearance on trial 1. He didn't show up on trial 2. And Ian Whiffin was the representative from Cellebrite who ended up reaching out directly to Norfolk County rather than getting back to Richard Green, because that's how they initially heard about this, right? Richard Green had placed a phone call to clarify some items with Cellebrite. Cellebrite, Axiom, and there's others are some of the companies and tools that forensic analyzers use to scrutinize this information, right? He had contacted Cellebrite. Cellebrite took the call. They escalated the call. They sent the ticket up. PR gets involved. Ian Whiffin gets involved. And instead of calling back, Richard Green, they ended up going around the corner and calling Norfolk County directly. So that's how this whole thing came about. Yes. And it was very, what do you call that? It was pretty heartbreaking because what Richard Green wanted to do was to make sure that he crossed his I's and dotted his T's, right? And he didn't get a chance to, because the Cellebrite people contacted Norfolk County directly, secured a contract with them, and, pretty much offered their services, and they outsourced expertise in forensics that Norfolk County used for this service. If you notice, and I wanted to show you this because this is just the affidavit from Richard Green, right? But if you notice on page 1776, and I'm trying to, this is the entire report. This is the entire report that they did on behalf of this. And some of the pages are back and forth, but I'm going to show you something that is so interesting to me, caught my attention immediately. For some reason, after all of this is done, and we're going to stop here and look at this Jen McCay text that I don't think a lot of people have seen. We have seen this before, the calls that she answered and whatnot, but the messages, like this kind of stuff, I don't think a lot of people have seen. So, John and Karen are looking for you. This is going to piss me off before even more than what I am already. But because every time that I stumble into something, I find something that it's mind blowing to me that this thing did not stop this trial like completely, and everybody just came to a full stop. This cannot be happening. So if we look at this page, look at this page. This is the forensic report. Let me see. Where did it go? Oh my God, wait. Okay, here we go. This is the report, right? Digital Forensics Report, January 2025. People versus Karen Reed. Report number 2. iPhone belonging to John O'Keefe. Ian Whiffin. And how does he sign? Smarter Forensics. Did you see that? Wait, it paused again. I don't know why he's doing that. Look at that. Smarter Forensics. That pissed me off. That pissed me off. Why would Cellebrite not go along with this report? Why would they put the name of their company along with it? Can you guys see it and still hear me? Now I'm good. Okay, wait. Okay, so wait. Very clear, no hearing. Phones for me. I'm trying to catch up. Okay, so you heard it. You're not on Twitter anymore. Okay, I'm gonna put in my email address. I don't know how to contact you. Freeze frame payment out. So I don't mind sending you the whole link to see if you want to scrutinize it. I already sent it to DMART too. DMART, did you get it? Were you able to open it up? I don't have any issues sharing the information, or where do I get the information from? I know that, sometimes others may, but I don't have any issues with that. So if anybody tries to, there's a community thing that I just opened. If people can put a question there to remind me or let me know how would they prefer that I send this to, or if I should just put my email there and you guys reach out to me, whatever you guys feel comfortable. I don't have any issues. But going back to this thing, can somebody text me if for some reason the page that I'm sharing times out and stops sharing? Because I'm gonna go back here. Going back to my point is here. Cellebrite should have issued this report. It should be under Cellebrite's name, right? Why is it under Ian Whiffin, Smarter Forensics? Why? Is Smarter Forensics a company that Ian Whiffin owns? That's my first thing, right? So the content of the report, it's pretty much detailed here, and there's a lot of information, right? But this report comes from Ian Whiffin. Now, if we look at it from a this is how they got the oh my god, the thumb drives. And the thumb drives were sent on October 2024 via Canada Post. And that's how they got them. They had been stepped on. This is just pathetic, man. It is pathetic. On little verbatim thumb drives. I wonder who did those. That's how they actually extracted the data from some of the phones. This is just pathetic, guys. And handed it to Norfolk County rather than bringing the phone, or Norfolk County taking the phone from Jen McCabe, Kerry Roberts, everybody else, right? They just allowed them to hand them flash drives with their own extractions that they did themselves after they deleted whatever they wanted to delete. So he says that the objective is to identify the origins of the 3 flights climbed around 0022 on the 29th of January 2022. Don't forget that everything these idiots did is an UTC -5, so we're going to have to revise that. Identify the location of the device at the time and identify any other activity of relevance. So they're saying that the software that they use was the physical analyzer, the versions as stated, Axiom, ArtX, and MACOS unified logs. The extraction file name, it has a whole extraction name, but then it breaks right after you break it down. Hashes have been calculated for this extraction, but no reference data is available. I don't know if everybody knows what that means. There's no signature on anything that they received because the hash values, there's no data. There's no reference. the signature, the fingerprint that actually makes all of this legitimate, right? Like authentic and genuine, not tampered with, it's missing. That's what that means. So extraction result summary, and I have to clarify, I am not an expert on this. My son is, and because of my son, I have been very involved in all of that. I have seen this type of what do you call it, extraction reports before during my government career, but I am not a software engineer, so I don't want to give anybody any ideas that I am an expert in software engineering at all. Like, I consulted with my kid. I have taken several classes because my job used to require that I at least had the minimum understanding of what things meant. But I just wanted to, so don't hang me or don't judge me. I already have people judging me on Reddit. So the package was run over and looks like tire tracks. Yeah, can you believe this? How do I make this? Oh, there we go. Okay, first, good that you guys can see each other, right? And it's like, thank you so much. I watched virtual juror on most of the very were in the trials. Yeah. And then I didn't even watch the pre-trial motions. You didn't? Oh, I did. I did. I watched all of the pre-trial motions. And thank you so much. And let me see. They were amazing. Especially, there was one in particular that not Melanie. Eliza Little argued with Brennan, and she won. And I've had my opinions about that one, but she gave him a run for his money. But Hank Brennan, with all that expertise, he failed to comply with 5 of the requirements of that argument. And Liza Little ended up winning it. And it was regarding getting the phone information from Karen's parents, if I'm not mistaken. It was something versus Grimm. I can't remember exactly, but it was eye-opening. Oh yeah, I like watching trials as a virtual juror. And oh, cool, wow, that's pretty awesome. It's funny how everybody has something that actually is like appealing to them, right? I'm like the calling, like where the strengths are. That's pretty cool. Can you imagine if we could all put all those talents together in one single setting? It's like we would be invincible, because whatever expertise I lack, you guys have. So it's like, we can rebuttal any argument. Going back on that document, and this is something else that I wanted to bring to you guys' attention. What they had iPhone 12s, right? And I think John had an iPhone, 11. And when you continue to go, for some reason, this kid, see, the version of the iOS on the device detail on the iPhone 11 was the 15th, but the name was Johnny, meaning that was John O'Keefe's phone. For some reason, he used the closest compatibility to explore all his findings, but he didn't use like the exact phone to review most of the stuff. And Richard Green did just that with Jennifer McCabe, which, sometimes you wonder if some of the variance that these two arguments and these two experts, when they render their opinions, if it was based on the fact that Ian Whiffin was never using the exact platform or the exact iOS that he should have used to analyze Jennifer McKay's phone. But when it comes to the flights of stairs, I think I'm gonna do, because it's better, because it's gonna take me a minute, because this is what I do. Like I start doing this and putting, like, wherever I find something that calls my attention, I start, and I don't want to keep you guys or drag you through it, but this is pretty funny. Hold on. Flights climbed. Numerous tests were conducted on a variety of devices to understand when a flight climb occurs and how accurate the recording is. The full extraction is. The full details of the testing can be found in Appendix 1 of this document, but testing can be summarized as follows. A flight climbed should be a flight climbed event is only recognized by the device once the altitude has increased significantly enough with the device, and the device considers that it was being walked. From testing, this appears to take place approximately 15 to 35 seconds after the flight climb event completed, but this may be affected by the speed being traveled. It is possible that altitude changes detected while the device is traveling in a vehicle can result in flight climb events. This is notably impacted by how the device is being held. Locations. So I have a theory about this because oh my God, it stopped. Okay, here we go. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. When I was looking into a specific time that it would take from going from like Canton Library to 34 Fairview and so forth, right? When I was looking into that, the information that I was getting from this platform that I have, it tells you, yeah, it looks interesting. It tells you the elevation. Like it not only tells you what is the exact time traveling at a 35 mile per hour or 40 mile per hour speed limit at a specific time of the day. It tells you exactly you're gonna go from this place to this place, and it's gonna go elevation 30 or so. It tells you like how many minutes. It tells you exactly. So I don't necessarily agree with just reading Whiffin's report and taking what he says at face value, because that's the basis of my existence. Like, I don't take anything at face value. I need to sort of cross-reference what he's saying here and cross-reference with another expert or with something else or with data or reading or, anything that I can either corroborate that what he's saying is accurate or debunk it, right? Sometimes when you try to audit other people's job, like, which is the whole concept in software engineering, is the whole concept behind peer review in medicine, right? Peer reviewed. What is peer reviewed? You get people that have equal or better or competent backgrounds, expertise, and education, masters, PhDs, whatever it is, and you get them to actually review something that somebody wrote, and they're going to render their opinion, and they're going to say, well, I disagree with you here, or I disagree with you there. Sometimes, and I don't know whether that's happening, but there was a debate going on not long ago where peer review was becoming more of a marketing type thing, positioning for some, rather than an actual or authentic peer review from one expert to another. In other words, people were wanting to volunteer to peer review, so their names would show up in different places as if they peer reviewed somebody and they agreed, but they were not necessarily going deep down or deep diving into those documents that they were peer reviewing, right? All they wanted was to be put into lights and their names to be placed up there. And that was a debate that was going on in one of the platforms also. Quick questions. Will you be deep diving and going through all of the what's AKWE? What's that? Will you be deep diving and going through all of the AK and WI? His case interests me as well. I'm not sure what AK and WI is. I don't understand what that is. I'm strictly working on John O'Keefe. Like, I don't know what those are. They may be interesting to me. I don't know. But I have been almost 4 years now. I have been auditing, checking, reviewing, cross-referencing, collapsing, and like scrutinizing every single detail that has to do with the death of John O'Keefe. First, because I knew that Karen Reed was framed. And second, because I want justice for John, just like a lot of people do, right? It doesn't This was not done by 5'4" tall, 118-pound Karen Reed. If so, because I think that she may be 110 or 100, but this was not done by her. So I need to figure out what happened. I need to find glitches. I need to find loopholes that loophole lawyer is not looking for. Can somebody say hi to him? I really like him. I just like debating with him and contradict him. But so when we're talking about location, this is huge, because he said that he found 963 locations with timestamps between midnight and 6 a.m. on the 29th of January. But then he also says that some of these records are low accuracy. Now, I want to bring something to everybody's attention. When something is low accuracy, and I want to make a poll. How do I pull a poll here? Oh my God, how do I do a poll? Wait, how do I make a poll? Cherry D. Start the process. What is this? Wait, Chelsea, wait. He's talking about, witness intimidation. I'm sorry. Okay. And, Aiden Carney. Yeah, I don't think so. Freeze frame pan out. I don't think I'm competent to do that. I think the first person to watch, if anybody is interested in that, would be one of the lawyers, either Melanie Little or Baker or Andrea or even Lana. Lana can break that down in no time. Josie, who they're asking about. Okay, I got it. And then, right, I come across any elusive lawyer had gone through. Are they not doing it? Are they not? But who have gone through all of the witness intimidation campaign? Ah, well, that's interesting. I don't isolate myself, but I try to sort of like tune out the noise. I don't have the time. Like, I feel like I'm racing against time, and a lot of people like laugh at me. It's like, oh, she thinks that she's gonna solve the whatever. It's not like I think I'm gonna solve anything. I'm trying to speed up to see if I can find any glitches or anything that is worth bringing to the attention of those who need it, so they have it before the civil trial comes about. There's more information that is going to come about in civil trials that it did during the you may not have the option. I like different perspectives. Yeah, Josie, you may not have the option to do a poll yet, Josie. I think, yeah, they told me that I can, but I don't. Let me see. How do I do this? I wanted to do a poll. Wait. Yeah, I took a training on this thing and they told me that I could, but I have no idea how. So we'll do it later. But my question with you guys is, like, when it comes to, I started covering. I keep getting distracted. Wait, mostly when it comes to, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm trying not to miss anything that has to do with John and Karen. And I know that, a lot of people say, well, the other stuff has a lot to do with it. I try to keep abreast if anything that I hear something, but documents related and anything that has to do with cases, all I'm focusing on is strictly on John and Karen. And, and of course the mofos, the bad guys. But let me go back to this. Oh, I was going to tell you. So the poll that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention is the following. Ian Whiffin talks in a lot of his testimonies and whatever. He talks about how there's low accuracy here, there's low accuracy there, right? But I wanted to ask you, do you think that most of the low accuracy, does it make sense that when you have a cell phone in your hand or in your pocket, there's going to be lack of signal or lack of accuracy when you are inside or outside a building? I want to ask that. Like, what do people think? Let's do 1 for inside and 2 for outside. Because if I'm inside here, right, any building, even if I have to go on an elevator, even when you're going on stairs, right, and you're going up and down, elevator, whatever, your signal gets weaker, right? There's less chances that you have a strong signal on your phone when you are inside a building than when you are outside a building. So maybe at the bottom of the hoop, maybe at the bottom of the chat window. Let's see. Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I have no idea. So if you are outside in a yard, right, or in your backyard, then you're going to actually get better signal, right, from the cell phone towers than you are when you are inside. Do you see that? What do I see? I don't see it. No, I didn't see anything. I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing. So my point with all this, and I'm going to share this again. My point with all this, let's see, for instance, right, that we are all at the waterfall, right? And the waterfall has its own Wi-Fi, right? But we don't know. I think he was the only one talking about this case, and others were too, but I like documents. I do find what is going on in the court of public opinion surrounding is definitely interesting. But yeah, and just so you know, like, maybe it's worth I do this. This is I need to do something for a second. Give me a second. Because I want to satisfy. Yeah, I know. I now it clicked on me. I was so focused on this that sometimes I block things. And hold on, I'm going to show you something. That I found. I come to this thing often because it can be very overwhelming when you are working and working and working and working and working and you get tired. And sometimes it's like, a lot of people say things that not necessarily are motivating or make you feel the best, right? But at the same time, you understand that the reason why we started doing this, it wasn't necessarily because, I'm speaking for myself. It's not necessarily because of anything personal or anything. I mean, especially in my case, most of the things that I did was support from the point of view of I was using, what do you call it, Twitter as my AK-47. I was writing. I was even there wasn't a Spanish community, and somebody that there was a group of people that spoke German. There were a group of people that spoke Italian, French, Spanish, and in any language where I felt comfortable, I tried to let them know, no, she didn't kill him. Most of the perception of those people in those countries was that Karen ran him over and killed him and left him there to die. And I don't know whether they were able to translate information. I don't know. But when I got into different forums, I would find all these people from all these different countries, and they were actually saying that Karen killed him, and it wasn't that Karen was framed. Again, culturally, there's a barrier too, right? Like there is challenge and there is a barrier because everybody behaves, acts, thinks, and even the thought process is different. But I did get involved into those forums, and I did try to explain to people and sort of like lay out the evidence. And when they would say, well, no, this is that, I would just, yeah. But during this time, I'm going to show you this. I was very involved and I loved it. Like there was nothing else that I wanted to do other than this. There was nothing else I wanted to be involved except this.
Hi, my name is Angela Cianodano, and I want to address the elephant in the room, which is the article in the Boston Globe regarding the alleged corruption of the Canton Police Department and this select board's involvement in it.
It was broken, but my dream, it lingered near in the far shining valleys where the pure air recognized all of my senses newly open, but I waking up to the cry that the people have the power to redeem the work of fools from the meek. The grace to shower, it's decreed. The people have the power. Woo! People have the power. People have the power. Yeah. People have the power. Woo! Became suspect and bending low as if to hear. When the armies ceased advancing because the people.
I'm sick of it. I watch this stuff on TV every night. I want answers from you guys.
We want answers.
When they laid among the stars, exchanging visions, laying arms to waste in the dust. In the form of shining valleys where the pure air recognized in my senses newly open and I awaken to the cry. People have the power. People have the power. People have the power.
If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck.
It's a freaking duck.
The people rule. Let's decree. The people rule. Listen, I believe everything we dream can come to pass through our union.
Free
we can turn the world around. We can turn the earth's revolution. We have the power. People have the power.
That
People have the power. People have the power. The power to dream, to rule, to wrestle.
Oh, Karen.
From fools, where it's decreed that people rule. Where it's decreed that people rule. We have the power. We have the power.
Mr. Reed. Stop. God.
We have the power.
Woo. Yeah, you guys. Pretty those were the good days, I think. So well, and in all fairness, it's like, time change. But that doesn't mean that people should. So those were different times. Like everybody was united, everybody was fighting for the same cause, everybody was being nice to each other because we needed each other. I mean, the the triumph is in numbers. It's in numbers. It's in unity, right? So good. I will share that I will put my email or something, and if people want to reach out, I will send it to them. I don't have an issue with it. But I keep going back to that video is available on the YouTube channel that is called the Read Files, and there's more videos there. So every now and then you need like a push, right? It's like, why am I doing this? Why am I spending so much time auditing and digging into all of this stuff? Why? Well, we need justice for John. I mean, for some of us, it's like this lack of fairness, right? This abuse, the bullying situation, the people that have pretty much abused their power and think that they can get away with anything because they are above the law, and they can get a group of 2 or 3 friends because they have friends in low and high places, and I don't know, and make it work on their behalf. And I disagree. I think that it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter who we are. If there are laws, they are to be followed by all of us, not just a few. So if anybody breaks the law, we should be facing consequences. If we are exercising our rights, then that's a little bit different, right? But in regards to this case, this was bad. This was really bad. And when I heard it first, they told us that they caught it on video. And that was the first big mistake. That news station channel should be sued as well, because you cannot publish something to the general public, to the entire state, that you have something on video when you don't, right? You gotta be careful, because the thing is, when you hear that a tragedy happens, right, or an accident happens, the general public is going to be like a little funnel, right? And whatever they hear first is going to stick to them for a long time. It's going to take a Herculean effort to actually delete and erase from their minds what they heard first. Because the first thing they heard was girlfriend ran over the Boston police officer and they have it on video. Do you know how difficult it is? Perception-wise, it doesn't matter how many marketing campaigns, social, it doesn't matter. It is nearly impossible to erase that. It's okay. It's almost like if I say something now, I can't take it back, right? I can't. You can hammer a nail on a little piece of wood, and you can take it out, but the mark is already there. So yeah, that's how it goes. But going back to this, what do you call it? Going back to this, where is it at? Right here. I wanted to go low accuracy happens out inside. Now, if John would have walked into 34 Fairview and let's say that they had Wi-Fi, which I'm sure that they did, and John was automatically connected to that Wi-Fi, then it makes sense. Then, it doesn't make sense because his phone would have had signal inside the house from the Wi-Fi that the Alberts had inside 34 Fairview, but he probably didn't. So he was running on his own Verizon, and I don't know if any of you have gone around Canton, but the signal and how it comes and goes, it's very weak in that area. I mean, you can go less than 0.3 and you're already missing, you're already like losing signal, and it's weak, and it takes forever for 2 ways to pop up unless you already have saved that address on your phone. Then it populates a lot quicker, or you can just access it without having to be connected to it. But signal sucks around Canton, and I have to rewatch that part again. I was on the phone with I don't know what we're talking about, and I know it does overlap, I can see. we're still talking about the other. Yeah. Let me see. But yesterday I did this. Let me see if I can bring this up. And how do I wait? Oops, did I lose you guys? People have the power. I'm gonna show you. Hold on. So wait. I found this. They're gonna have a terrible time on trial 1. I mean on the civil trial, because there is, let me see, I'm going to try to word it perfectly. The new information that has come out in regards to the actual timing, it's, here we go. I'm going to see if I can show you guys this. And hold on. I don't know exactly how, but I will. Okay, here we go. So if I switch from that screen to this screen, you guys are going to see this. And let's see, share screen. Is it share window? Okay. So let me see if I can share it. I added a couple of stuff to a couple of search engines, and I did it in Grok, I did it in ChatGPT, I did it in Safari, I did it in just countless platforms, trying to see, would they tell me something different? Can I see if one differs from the other? Or I'm gonna see if I can move this out. There we go. Okay, so there's a new finding that the other day, I don't know if you missed that show, but we were on Google Earth, right? And what we did was we took the information based on the actual evidence, on what we can attest to, right? And I'm going to show you. I know for a fact that Karen Reed was right in front of the Canton Library at, what do you call it? At 12:29 and 2 seconds. Can you guys see that? If the Lexus is seen right in front of the library at 12:29, right? And 2 seconds. How can we determine traffic-wise, speed limits, what time did Karen leave? Must have had left 34 Fairview, going through Chapman and then Washington, to be seen right in front of the Canton Library at 12:29:02. So I love puzzles because I love math. I love math because I love physics. I love algebra. I love equations. I love just scrutinizing that kind of stuff. Karen left. I'm going to try to see if I can bring you this. 34 Fairview, no later than 12:26, 12:27 a.m. If I go really bold, I would say that she left around 12:25 and a few seconds. And there's a reason for it. So when you estimate time, you have to give yourself some sort of like a, an error, like a margin, right? Where you could be like an approximate time. But if you think about it, like just no emotions, right? It was freaking midnight. There's no freaking traffic. There's no traffic. So from 34 Fairview, if you keep going straight on Chapman, and then you end up into Washington Street, because she didn't take Sherman, she went Chapman, Washington. So it was sort of like a straight ahead on the library, and she's going at 12:29:02. She's caught, and there's a picture. I'm gonna bring you the picture of Karen right in front of the library. That explains why she connected at 12:36 a.m. on John O'Keefe's Wi-Fi at One Meadows, in the corner of One Meadows and Pleasant Avenue. So by 12:36, because there's another piece of information in this puzzle, right? 12:36, she's already connecting on the Wi-Fi, meaning that she's in the proximity or going up to the driveway, or coming in, right? And we hear her on the phone, her heels going taka 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 as she's going in. So what was I saying? Time check 2:27. What? I'm gonna block the chat. I'm gonna have to block the chat. You guys, I used to be a multitasker. I can't do it anymore with one hand. You guys are killing me. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. So what am I missing? Wait, I gotta go back to the chat screen. Give me a second. I saw something. Who else stopped up? You can try your case in court of public opinion if you want to record. All of the 100% on the court with my. Okay, he's talking about the witness intimidation. And then who else stopped distracting? No, you're not. And then this one says, time check 2:27. Oh, it was 2:27 when we were talking about it? It's already 2:27? Oh, wow. And then LOL. And then thank God Karen was what? On the phone when we heard her walking through the garage. Yes. No, you're fine, sweetheart. I wish you could come here and help me, because I need an extra hand. But anyhow, what I'm trying to say is, if Karen left if Karen is seen at 12:29:02 in front of the Canton Library, and you go and you try to backtrack those calculations, and you do a Google Lens search, or you put, if I am seen at 12:29:02 in front of the Canton Library, what is the expected or approximately ETA to the corner of Pleasant Avenue and Meadows, One Meadows, right? If I'm traveling around such and such time, right? And at between 30 to 35 miles an hour. 40, put 40, just to give you a good medium, right? And it will estimate it. Now, then you can backtrack, and he said, okay, if I'm seen at 12:20:02 in front of the Canton Library, and I was previously at what time should I leave 34 Fairview Road if I'm driving at midnight and I want to get to the Canton Library, in front of the Canton Library on Washington Street by 12:29:02, something to that effect. And he will actually go back and tell you. So I did it in like so many platforms, but I just wanted to make sure, like, okay, is there going to be like a variance? Like, I wanted to know, like, what's going to be the margin of error here? Is somebody going to make it go closer to this and closer to that? The majority of the search engines that I did to try to research this, and I did it on Google Earth, did it on different platforms, it comes to 12:25 and a few seconds, which means that if I put everything into context and I try to figure out what happened, Ryan Nagel, I gotta go to the pictures. Ryan Nagel, Sarah Mason, and what's his name? And the other one were seen at CF McCarthy's. The same Ford F-150 that they're driving is also seen at the waterfall. I also spotted it coming across Washington Street by the library, right? So you have two different cars, right, with different occupants that are driving around town. Actually, there's more cars, but you have two different cars that are driving at the same time, two occupants, two different vehicles. And in front of the Canton Library, if you dedicate time to actually watch that from the beginning until the end, you will see that you will see most of the what do you call it? Most of the people that are involved on this thing, you see all of their cars back and forth on the what do you call it? Hold on. Found a way to do it. Hold on. On the same place. Like they're all under twang. They're all together. And don't forget, Brian Albert Jr.'s birthday was that day. Colin Albert was out and about that day. He keeps saying that it was Mike who picked him up and dropped him off. And I think, you can't take their testimony either at face value and believe that everything that they say is actually 100% true, because it isn't. It just isn't. Until we find a way to come to terms with the fact that most of these people were lying. We're not going to be able to see this from a logical perspective that is objective, that is full of bias, because forget about the testimony. Listen not only to what they say, but what they're not telling you. Why do you think that that they would be so sort of aligned together, trying to make sure that they coincide in a specific areas? Like, and I think it was Fervent, I don't know if you guys follow him, that did a video the other day, and Fervent was saying, no, it's not a lie, that's a fact, it's not a lie, it's a fact, it's not a lie, it's a fact. Jen McCabe and Matt McCabe sound like a broken record, right? They sound like a freaking broken record. It's almost like they practiced and recited and did what they had to do. So it's amazing to me. So the same thing happened with, what do you call it? With oh my God, with Jesus Christ. The same thing happened with Colin Albert. Oh, Ali picked me up. My cousin, my Ali picked me up. She's not my cousin, but Ali picked me up, right? And you continue to think about it, and it's like, what's going on here? And who took you? And how did you get there? But then you see a Jeep driving around the Canton Library. So how do we know that wasn't Colin Albert? How do we know that one of the things that they were trying to keep on hush-hush was the fact that Colin Albert was driving, 17 years old, drinking and driving and hanging out at the waterfall parking lot and going all over town, back and forth with his friends? How do we know that? Because that could be a possibility, right? Especially when you see the Jeep. If you watch the entire Canton Library video, the new one that is out there, the extended and prolonged one, you're gonna see Ford Edge, you're gonna see the Fordscape, you're gonna see a weird two-door sports, what it looks to be like an Acura. You're gonna see the Yukon Denali, you're gonna see the Lexus, you're gonna see the Cadillac, the blue Cadillac that is driven by what do you call it? By Nicole Albert. You're going to see all of their cars. You're going to see the Ford F-150 too. You're going to see several Jeeps. And then when you change from that camera and you watch the entire thing at the Temple camera that is available around Chapman, then it really gets, nerve-wracking. Because then you confirm that all of the cars that you saw are some of the cars that then you find on this report. that you can see them. Hold on. Okay, wait. Guess who that is? Can you see it? That's Heather Maxon. That's Ryan Nagel. That's Ricky Dantano. And this is the group that was the CF McCarthy's right when this is John and that's Karen. Right? They were there. Let me see if I can. Can you see it okay? I'm going to switch to this one. Yep, you guys can see it. Let me see the comments. Yep. This is by content creator as mouse to keep the shot on it. Yep. Yeah, but we don't even have 250 cats yet. I don't think I can have mods before. Don't I need like the 500 or the 1,000 followers to people subbed up to have a moderator? Believe me, I'm dying for a mod. I'm dying for somebody to help me, especially with this hand situation. And I have a feeling that they're going to continue to keep me on this cast for another 3 weeks, because every time that I take a peek at it, the swelling is not going down. So I have no idea. But okay, so perfect. So that's Heather Maxon. That's the car, right? That's the Ford parked right there in front of the CF McCarthy's. And that's Ricky Dantano, Ryan Nagel, and Heather Maxon. What are the odds? These kids were at CF McCarthy's when they were at CF McCarthy's. They were out and about the entire night. And then let's make a pause here. And I want you to understand something. If and when, right? Wait. If and when you are out and about, let's see if it's this one, or is it this one? Okay, share. And we're going. These are the let me see if I can. There we go. The other way. Okay. So. Okay, that's the Waterfall Bar and Grill, right? And this is the route that Karen and John took to get, they passed, they didn't take the Sherman turn, so they kept going, and they didn't take Cedar Crest from Dedham either, so they kept going, and then they ended up taking Cedar Crest and from the Dedham Street, and that's how they ended up in Maplecroft, and then it sort of sways, and then it goes to Oakdale, and then from Oakdale, it sort of sways, and then it goes from Oakdale, and then from Oakdale, and then da. But this is the route they took. Why did they take that route? Because they didn't know where they were going, right? They didn't know where they were going. But guess who knew where they were going? Ricky Dantano, right? Ryan Nagel, and Heather Maxon. They knew exactly where they were because they're from that town. So let me ask you a question. If Ricky Dantano and Heather Maxon, which is in the back seat, and I am absolutely positive that it was Ryan that was driving, not Ricky. But if they all want to go to 34 Fairview, why do you think they would take the exact same route and come through Cedar Crest? Why do you think so? Because they were on the same area. CF McCarthy's and Waterfall and D&E, all of that, they're on the same area. They could have taken Sherman, just like Jen McCabe did, right? But they were right behind Karen and John. And then when I found that picture that I had, I'm thinking, wait a minute, they were also at the CF McCarthy's. So what are the odds? Because if I show you another picture, there are two groups involved in this. The first group is Colin and his crew, and Ricky Dantano and Julian and Nagel and Brian Albert Jr. and the same people that we saw when what happened to the confrontation that happened in front of D&E, right? Confrontation, D&E, pizza, and he was Total Boy. Let's see if I can find on YouTube. Let me see if I can find that video real quick, because it was the same people. Those are the same kids. Now, adult-wise, no. No. That was not. Welcome to the party at D&E Pizza. Let's see. There we go. Let's share.
Chris Albert, Chicken Pop Charlie. We're here to do a protesting. We are demanding the resignation of Chris Albert from the Board of Selectmen. We got our signs and everything here. Down with Chris Albert. Resign, Chris Albert. Resign from the Board of Selectmen. Disgraceful. Loser. So we're going to raise awareness here. It might even be the first day of school. I see school buses going by. A lot of traffic here. Okay.
That might be it.
Well, again, I don't want to go inside because he doesn't like when I do that.
And he had a camera.
Protest. Is Chris here?
No, talking about witness intimidation and freedom of speech and all of that. Chris Albert had a camera installed outside D&E Pizza, right? And that camera was not only recording video, was also recording, what do you call it? Audio. So it was capturing, it was recording, it was a surveillance camera. For me, that breaks privacy laws, because the privacy laws of 1976 says that I have a right to privacy, right? And they were recording anything and everything that anybody said and walked by on the sidewalks outside D&E Pizza. So talk about a violation by itself, right? D&E Pizza, confrontation, Total Boy. Meredith was there too. Total Boy and Meredith. Let me see if I can pull that, if I can find on YouTube, if I can find the other video while I do that. But I'm going to place this one. I'm going to play that one so you guys.
Fuck you, pussy.
What?
Fuck you.
What do you mean, fuck me?
Fuck you.
Why are you
Fuck
saying
you, Turtle Boy. You're a bully. You guys are bullies with cameras.
How are
You're
we
Wow.
a bully with a fucking camera. You're a liar.
Who are you?
Hey, I'm on a live show.
She's so angry. Why?
Hey,
Mother every night.
here we go.
Whoa.
Here we go. So we're going to.
All right, so we're down here at CF McCarthy's. Who are you?
Listen,
Which one are you?
Which one are you?
what I think he's the older Albert. Chris Albert.
So that is, just so you know, this is the older Albert son, Ryan Albert's son. That is Colin Albert. They're the one that has that is standing up, like he's a standing post, what do you call it? Marine Guard without a uniform. This is Julian and Nagel's brother too, that kid. And that kid is the one that I showed you that was in CF McCarthy's facing Ryan Nagel. Okay. Now watch this.
Junior, I think, right?
Oh, Albert Jr.? Is that? Oh, gotcha. The mustache. You guys seem really intimidated. And do what? I don't want to scare him. I don't want to intimidate him. I don't want to scare you guys. I know you guys are really scared of me. I don't want to scare anybody. We're doing this for our own protection.
That's Colin.
We
That's
don't want
Ryan.
to be anyone. We don't want to scare
That's
you
Julian
guys.
and Nagel.
Oh, not yet.
I mean,
But
That's Chris over there.
no. We're gonna call the police. So You guys just got here. We got it all on film. I was just assaulted by Jim Farris.
So wait.
He assaulted me.
Wait. Look what we saw here. This is their establishment, right? So I'm gonna show you. Look at the cars.
We don't want to
Look at
scare
the
you
cars that are
guys.
parked there.
Oh,
There's Chris Albert right there.
But no. We're gonna call the police. So you guys just got here.
Right
We got
there?
it all on
Or
film.
Edge?
I was just assaulted by Jim Farris. He assaulted me, and we got it all on video. And now the McAlberts are down here telling me they're gonna kick my ass or something like that, harassing me, call me a pussy. We'll see.
I got beep. I have a PG show.
We'll see. There's Colin's talking. He's got a lot. I'm glad he's not intimidated at least.
I'm
glad he's not intimidated at least. So yeah, we got there.
I wonder
I'm
if
surprised to see Ryan down here like this.
yeah.
Yes, he was.
So wait, slowly.
Yeah.
Wait, ha.
On video, and
People
now the
pass their
McAlberts are
cars
down
around
here
each other.
telling me they're gonna kick my ass or
They'll land
something
their
like
cars
that,
on each other.
harassing me, call me a pussy.
At a force gate.
We'll see. There's Colin's talking. He's got a lot. I'm glad he's not intimidated at least. So yeah, we got there. I'm surprised to see Ryan down here like this. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Older force gate. Same car that we saw at the waterfall. Where's Charity? Charity, did you see the Ford? Did you see the white Ford car? Where's PC? Oh my God. Wait. Okay, wait.
I didn't say shit. I'm not protesting. I'm just trying to eat a meal. We are just trying to. We just went in here.
What was that
we
car?
went in here to see if McCarthy's, and we ate dinner. Okay, we ate dinner, and then all of a sudden we got assaulted by these goons on video. These guys who claim to be so scared. We're just trying to eat. We're just trying to eat a meal of food.
Okay, so wait. So you see when he showed CF McCarthy's a minute ago? Okay, wait.
By these goons on video.
If you keep going down that road all the way down, that's where the waterfall is. So CF McCarthy's is a little bit to the left, right? Let me see if I show you. They're all on the same
protest. I'm just trying to eat
McCarthy's.
I'm just trying to eat a meal.
And you keep going straight.
We are just trying to. We just went in here. We went in here to CF McCarthy's, and we ate dinner. Okay, we ate dinner, and then all of a sudden we got assaulted by these goons on video. These guys who claim to be
assaulted by the goons.
We're just trying to eat. We're just trying to eat a meal of food. Again, this is wild shit, man.
Juliana Nagel, Ryan Nagel.
What are they like? This is wild. These guys, they prove me right every single time. Every time, baby. Every time. I hope you.
And that is my point, you guys. This is their gang, right? If we break it down into groups, the groups between Colin Albert, Ryan Nagel, Juliana Nagel, Brian Albert Jr., and the other brother, Juliana Nagel's younger brother, which is the one that starts talking to Meredith and touching her on her elbow. That's the group. And that group was also out the night of the 28th going into the 29th. That group was also out. Now, Juliana Nagel, Brian Albert Jr., and Sarah Levinson could have been at 34 Fairview if they want to say that that's what happened. But don't forget that when Karen got to 34 Fairview, what was it that she said? Wait, look, dark. There were hardly any cars. It didn't look like there was a party going on there, right? So it looks much better when you enlarge it. But yeah, but this one is a video, so I don't think I can enlarge the video. Let me see. No, it goes back to, that's the most I can do. Wait until we get to, I'm going to bring you back to.
You ready to hear the words? I'm just trying to eat dinner, bro.
Look,
How's Officer Wade?
that's Chris Albert,
How's Officer
Juliana
Wade?
Nagel. Look,
Don't
like
even
they're
get
all
into it.
kids
Don't
hanging
even
out.
get into it
Oh,
with them.
I can't see it now.
It's been going on 15 minutes now and no police still with this.
We'll find out. So we are filming for our own protection here.
Oh boy.
Oh, look who it is.
Uh-oh.
Look who's here.
Uh-oh.
Here.
And what car is this?
There she is.
That doesn't look like, looks like an Outlander, like a Mitsubishi. Hold on. I am into cars because I gotta figure out this car.
I'm sick of your shit. Okay? Enough is enough. You're a prick.
Can I have my phone?
How's the kids? How's the kids? They must be so proud of their dad.
Taking a
Before
picture.
that,
So what?
that's my
So
little
what? What
brother.
did I do? He came up to us. We were walking in.
That's Chris.
No, we didn't.
Chris is following
Justice
him up.
for Peter Berger. You'll beat my face. You could. Yeah. You seem really intimidated. You seem
Yeah,
really
he's pretty
intimidated.
aggressive.
I'm glad you said that on film.
He portrays to be not to, but he's very aggressive.
Oh, really? See? Just in case you were entitled to feel bad for these people at all. This is who they really are. Look at these animals. Look at these goons. Look at these goons.
Let me see. If I can
Goons.
see what I'm looking
Goons.
for. That's Jill Daniels. So that's a
Keep
Toyota.
going. Keep going. She stole my Jim Ferris and by Jill Daniels. We saw it. I mean, I want charges on both of them. Jill and Jim. They're both getting charged. They're both. Yeah, she did get touched. Mary
Wait. Who is that?
As you guys can see here.
Wait.
See that? They're still over there. Yep. I guess we're having a film off.
Of course they are.
Like, this is wild, dude. This is wild.
So I would have.
We got
gone
tons of
somewhere
witnesses.
else,
We got tons of witnesses.
I get it.
Like everybody inside CF McCarthy saw it.
I need
My
to know
own
this
business.
stuff.
I came out of
I need
here.
to see this
Jim
stuff.
Ferris come up and hit me. He came up and hit me. He assaulted me. So now we got more cops here. Okay.
Here's a sergeant, shift sergeant.
Yep.
Sergeant
That's not.
Mulaney.
So we got a sergeant here again. Filming for our own protection here.
Yeah, we're not going to show this anymore. But my point to you guys is that that is a group, and that group was out that night, and that group is seen driving around Canton, the library video, and up and down the road. And here is, what's his name? Ryan Nagel, Ricky Dantano, and Heather Maxon at CF McCarthy's. And when they go to 34 Fairview, they don't take the shortcut as they would because they're locals and they knew the route, right? But what do? They take the same route that Karen and John took. Why? Why would they do that? Were they following them? Have you thought about that? Like, I throw ideas in my head. I hate speculating. I hate, it's got to make sense. But it's like, why else would they go? Why would they do that? If they were locals and they knew exactly where 34 Fairview is, and the sister actually called, which I don't think she called at all. I think that between Colin Albert and his buddies and all of them were onto something, right? Either they knew that there was going to be a fight at the waterfall, either they knew, and then everybody comes from the waterfall and everybody's sort of like jetting out towards 34 Fairview right around the same time that Jen McCabe leaves, right? When Karen got there at 12:21:10, do I repeat that? When Karen got there at 12:21:10, the house was dark. It didn't look like there was a party going on. And there are a lot of comments out there saying, like, wait, she may not even know that. And true, she didn't know where she was. It was John who was manipulating the Waze app and trying to find out where 34 Fairview was. It wasn't Karen. Karen was driving, right? The Waze that he was using and whatever app was on his phone, not on the Lexus, right? What Karen did have on her Lexus was a little button on the end tune of the Toyota Lexus system that says, "Take me home." And the only thing she pushed when she left 34 Fairview was probably the home button on her navigation screen, because it would have taken her straight and directly to One Meadows, which is the One Meadows Jones address, which is at One Meadows and Pleasant Avenue. And she got there within the estimated time, following the estimated speed limits that are authorized in that area, given the fact that she was driving right around 12:25, 12:29 in the morning. That fits like a tailored suit. When I did that exercise, it's almost like the suit was made on top of you. It fits, it clicks, it's undebatable. Nobody can tell me that Karen was not there at 12:21:10 and that Ryan Nagel, who had just given her the right of way, which, by the way, he didn't give her shit. It was her right of way to begin with, because she was turning right and he wasn't, right? So he stopped because they missed the turn, and they stopped and they turned around and did a 3.4 turn. And during that 3.4 turn, John and Karen were both in that car. And at 05, they met at the corner of Cedar Crest and Fairview. Karen continues to move forward, turns to the right, and John gets out of the car. And she stays there. But right behind Karen's tail, the Lexus tail, is who? It's Ryan Nagel, Heather Maxon, and Ricky Dantano. And those lights, very bright behind Karen's Lexus. And when Karen sees a car coming, she pulls forward, right? Because she was right by the mailbox and she didn't know whether they were dropping off or picking up somebody. So she moved forward to let them use the pathway from the driveway to the house. So by 12:22, Ryan Nagel is already behind Karen Reed, right? Now, in the back burner, keep in mind, John is getting beaten up, right? Because he had already gotten out of the car, went westerly towards the house, had already entered through the garage, and had already approached a threshold. That's what Whiffin described on his little, report there, that Cellebrite didn't even care to put their logo in. That's what he described. So he was going westerly towards the house at that time and going over 1, 2, 3 up the stairs and reached that threshold where everybody else was. At some point, John tries to come around. I don't know if you guys saw it on the report that Whiffin explained, that he sort of like came the opposite way. But guess who is outside? So they push Karen forward, right? She has to move forward. It's already 12:24. And that's on or about. And I personally, you know what I want, if you want me to tell you, what I personally think? That there was that Julie never called Ryan. She never called him. Ryan was in cahoots with Colin and they were all going to the same time. The minute that Karen is the first one who pulls up to 34 Fairview and she doesn't have anybody in front of her, she has no idea who's behind her. Because if the lights are bright, are all aiming at the back of the Lexus and her rearview mirror, guess what? She doesn't know what the heck is going on behind her. 3, 4, 5 cars could have pulled up and went catty corner on top of that driveway to the right-hand side, and she would have not noticed. Why? Because she had YouTube blasting, right? And she was looking down on her phone, looking through emails and text messages, and there were lights on her eyes through the back of the Lexus, through the rearview mirror, etc., etc., etc. By the time that Ryan Nagel leaves, which is early to 12:25, right? And Karen follows, whatever happened on the right-hand side of that driveway, whoever came in, left, and whatever brawl happened, she missed it. She missed it. When Ryan Nagel leaves, and Heather Maxon and Ryan and everybody says that they saw Karen with her hands in 10 and 2, and Karen looks and she pulls forward looking to see if she sees anything, and she doesn't see anything. It's between 12:25 and 12:26. Have you seen what happened during the same time when you look at Jen McCabe's health data? She's frozen like a fish. Exactly around 12:25. By 12:24:38, John had already died. And Karen didn't know that she was waiting outside, pissed at John because he never came outside to tell her, give her the thumbs up, you can come in. And how little did she know, right? So she goes, but you know who knew? Ryan Nagel knew. You know who knew? Juliana Nagel knew. You know who else knew? Everybody who was in that house. But if we apply process of elimination here, and we think about this, Colin was also at that house. So was that white Fourscape pulled up later at that house, because the Fourscape was actually following Jen McCabe, Chris Albert, and Matt McCabe, who all traveled together inside the Yukon Denali. So you have Chris and Matt, who arrived at that house by 12:18 and seconds, right? And then you have the people that were on the white car, but Jen's car is parked in the middle of the driveway, right behind Nicole Albert's Cadillac, blue Cadillac. And that Yukon Denali, the height is equivalent to a 6'5" tall guy. You're more than welcome to look it up. In feet, it's about 6'5", and John was shy of 6'2". But I can assure you that Ryan Nagel's Ford F-150 was so close. They were on John and Karen's tail from CF McCarthy's. Followed them using the same route through Cedar Crest as Karen and John did. Waited until they turned right onto Fairview to continue to pull behind them, because it was the pull up concept. Do you remember? Pull up, KO, bam, bang. Do you remember that? These two groups were simultaneously but independently hanging out with a purpose that night. From the waterfall, from CF McCarthy's back, and you can see all these cars traveling back and forth. There was a purpose why that Ford F-150 pulled up after, right behind Karen Reed. If anything, I have concluded that nothing here is a coincidence, right? That's the first thing that I have concluded. So if you continue to look and think, okay, so let's give it a minute, because what if they were somewhere else and they decided to, there was a party going on, right? In Oakdale, there was the Blizzard party going on at Brian Hamilton's house. What if everybody was there? Everybody knew about that Blizzard party. Everybody knew that there was a Blizzard party going on, but they also knew that that Blizzard party was not going on at 34 Fairview. So if Karen is gone by 12:25, nothing that happened after 12:26, 12:27 involves Karen Reed, right? There were at least 3 people outside and present when John pulled up. The last 3 people that were closer to be outside waiting for John were Matt McCabe, Chris Albert, and Colin Albert, because he was already at the house when John was at the house. Right? Now, we're still not talking about Kevin Albert. We have no idea where he was, other than we saw him and found him at the waterfall. But Matt McCabe and Chris Albert were the last ones to arrive at 34 Fairview with Jen McCabe, who was driving the Yukon Denali. Those were the same 2 people that John was seeing the last few minutes that we saw John O'Keefe. he was talking to who? To Matt McCabe and Chris McCabe. And those are the same two people that were closer in time to be right there when John got out of the car, were Chris Albert, Matt McCabe, and Colin, who was still at the house. Kevin, we have no idea where he's at, right? Ryan Nagel pulls up right after Karen Reed pulls up at 12:22 seconds, because if they intercepted each other in the corner of Cedar Crest and Fairview, how can you explain that Karen shows up at X given time and that the person that she intercepted in the same intersection like 5 seconds ago is not right behind her tail? It doesn't make any sense. Logically, it doesn't make any sense. So for over a year and a half, I have been saying that the time that John spent inside 34 Fairview within those premises alive were 3 minutes and 19 seconds. For over a year and a half, I have been saying that John collapsed exactly at 12:24:38. This is not news for me or anybody who knows me or anybody who has followed me on Twitter or on X or on the chats, telling every single content creator, no, he died at 12:24. No, why? Because I have already audited this. I have already done this. I have already analyzed this. I have already consulted. I have spent money and asked even people that know more than I do about this same situation. By 12:24:38, which coincides with his health data, John O'Keefe already had received whatever punches ambushed by whoever it was that went boom, 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 and then he collapsed, he hit his head, and he never came back to. So, yeah, and now she's now married. I don't know if you know that, but Heather Maxon just remarried, and she remarried somebody else. She didn't marry Ryan Nagel, but they did break up. And Ricky Dantano, don't forget that he doesn't drink. So, you know, if you have all of these kids riding around Canton Cop Town, where everybody knows each other, and nobody gives a ticket to anybody, right? And everybody's allowed to drink and drive drunk, right? Whether you're 17, 18, 16, it doesn't matter because you're the McCalverts, right? For trial purposes, the best outcome would have been if they would have said that it was Ricky Dantano who actually was driving the Ford F-150. But guess where I found that Ford F-150? The Ford F-150 is seen all over town at the Temple surveillance camera that Court Shop shows, that has like two sides and it's like one on top of another, and I don't know why it was done like that, but you can actually attest that the Jeep Wranglers, the four Escapes, the four Edges, the four F-150s, all of those cars that went through that area are caught at the Temple at that surveillance camera. If you look at the Canton library video, you see the patrolman is going, right? And you see the Jeep coming in. Oh my God, that's Ryan testified. Wait. Ricky, I thought Ricky D testified to a couple of beers in trial 1. I'm not sure. Are you talking about Ricky Dantano? Ricky Dantano, they said that he was the driver. Ryan testified to being the driver. When did Ryan testify being the driver? And Ryan testified being the driver? Wait. I'm under the impression that they tried to say that it was Ricky Dantano who was the driver, that Ryan was in the passenger side, and Heather Maxon was right behind Heather. Wasn't it? I deleted my... Okay, I'm not sure. Oh my God, that's right. Okay, oh my God, that's right. So which one? Okay, I'm not sure. So where was I? Oh my God. So all of these cars are seen. That's my point. You can confirm that all of these cars were up and out, right? And they were all out. So everybody was out for a different reason. There is Colin Albert hanging out with his friends, right? And don't forget, Colin Albert is a wannabe who? Brian Albert Sr., That's what he wants to be like. He wants to be like his uncle. He worships his uncle. And I see. And all he wanted to do was make him proud or whatever it was, right? But I'm going to show you something else. Because there's a lot of options, right? And we have to consider all the possibilities when it comes to situations like this, because you don't want to put a word out there that is not necessarily accurate. The only reason or the only way that I would actually put my hand on fire on something is if I can document it and support it in many different ways. If I have documentation, pictures, or if I can attest, or if I have anything that proves that what I'm saying is right, several times, not one, but several times, and one rebuttals the next, I will put my hand on fire on it, and I will claim that that is the only logical explanation. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of things. The first one that I'm going to show you is this. Early on, and this is one of the reasons why we had to have our eyes open and be abreast of anything that was going on. A lot of people chose to follow everybody and their mother because we needed to find out, and get the dirt, get the beef, what was happening and who was doing what and who's friends with who, and, research families. Like, are they related? What are you talking about? Are these people related to each other? Are these people, like, everybody wanted to know what the heck was going on with these people. So there was information out there at some point, and this is Colin Albert. Can you guys see it? That in order for somebody to get the family tattoo, and please correct me if I'm wrong because I may not remember. Hold on. Let me see if I can go back to this picture and make it larger. Okay. That is Colin, right? He's not a kid anymore. He's all grown up. So that's Colin Albert with a fresh family tattoo. You see it? Can you guys see it? Let me go back to the comments and see if you guys are telling me something because I can't. Okay. No, I don't have any new comments from you guys. So that's Colin Albert. I guess just like when you go into a hazing situation or you go into an alpha, beta, whatever, right? You got to go through some sort of induction and earned your badge. And I'm not sure whether this was related to this, but this image of Colin Albert was taken 2 weeks to the day after John O'Keefe was murdered. He has noticeably a swelling right on his right eye. You see it? And wait. And we know that O'Keefe punched something due to the condition of his hand. It still wasn't quite questioned. And this was an article. This picture that I am showing you guys came from an article in TV, Daily News. And he further comments. This is Lisa Carter is posting. Well, John O'Keefe was actively working on a drug case that led him to Canton. He went to the Canton chief of police to notify as a courtesy, and this is documented. And that's Lisa Carter's theory, right? Unfortunately, the Canton PD had, I believe, 2 Alberts were on the force, and 100% his investigation led to 34 Fairview. I also think that it may have led to Colin Albert. That remains to be determined. The Commonwealth's case was observed. John O'Keefe was murdered by his brother in blue in the basement of 34 Fairview, and that is a fact. I think about it. If a dead body shows up in anyone else's front yard, let alone a law enforcement officer, would you bet your ass that the cops are going to be knocking on the door and securing the scene by exigent circumstances before Proctor even got to the scene? Dismissed the possibility of the McAlberts because the owner of 34 Fairview was BPO Brian Albert. So my point with all this, we don't know whether these kids were out looking for a fight. You know, we don't know why they were out. We don't know whether they were partying. We don't know what they were doing. So, but they were all out at the same time. And when Colin says, I was picked up, I was dropped up, I was picked up, I was dropped up, like a good Bowie, right? With his little vest on and whatever. But then again, you turn around and then you find another video that goes, hey, B, pull up, KO, bam, bam. I will F you up, right? That's what he said. So who are you? Which one are you? It's like a split personality situation here. Like you're trying to, this is not a mockery. The fact that somebody died, right? But this is how people behave. When they know that you're watching, they're wearing a little Mr. Rogers vest and they're at their best behavior. But when they know that you're not, then they can get away with the, hey, I'll F you up and I'm drinking and I'm 17. So what? My uncle is a cop and he's a Boston cop and hey, I'll F you up. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't. I mean, you can because you did, right? Obviously he did. That's how he behaved and that's what he said. But you cannot expect that people with 2 inches of a brain are going to buy your bluff because it doesn't work that way, Colin. It doesn't work that way, Nicole. Oh, I'm always cleaning and yeah, that's what I do. And then you see her at the waterfall flirting and mingling between Brian Albert and Brian Higgins and you know, touching Brian Albert and all laughing and loud. And then you see her at the ABC interview and she laughs right before they ask Jen McCabe, so what about this 22740 search? Oh, she asked me to look for it. She asked me to search it. I mean, it doesn't matter how many times I say it, nobody believes me, but she asked me to look for it. That's what Jen said. But look at Nicole Albert's face when she says that. I have come to the conclusion that these were two different groups of people, and they had a situation that they had to settle. And the Chris Albert situation with John O'Keefe situation and Colin Albert situation prompted and perhaps provoked that Colin Albert's friends were also like mixed in the whole thing, in the whole ordeal. I think this started and the plan was to carry it out at the waterfall. I think that plan went kaput because Jen tried incessantly to actually divide and separate Karen from John, and she failed with flying colors until she managed to separate them. How did she separate them? When Jen told John O'Keefe where to, and Jen told John that John was going to go where Jen said and not where John O'Keefe and Brian Higgins had agreed to meet, that's when she managed to separate John O'Keefe from Karen Reed. She didn't do it at the waterfall, but she managed to do it. And at the end of the day, Karen left no later than 12:25 and 40-something seconds, maybe 38-something seconds from 34 Fairview Road, headed towards Washington Street, is seen at 12:29:02 in front of the Canton Library, and arrives at 1 Meadows by 1:36 in the morning. Right? So when you see this type of reports where Whiffin is trying to say that, well, and this accident happened, or Trooper Paul, right? That or oh no, it was this time John was like moving and he didn't get there until no, Whiffing, sorry, and sorry, Guarino, but no. You can't, we're not buying it. You know, we're not buying it because unlike you, we can math on the fly. Unlike you, we can do calculus. We can do algebra. We can come up with estimated times. If somebody leaves at a given time and is driving within speed limits or even 5 or 10 over, we can estimate based on when we see those cars and the pictures of those cars in front of the library, we know exactly how far out they were to arrive from one destination to another. You can, but you cannot expect that all of us are going to believe that you are cheating us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes from the beginning since you started. You're saying that they didn't get to Cedar Crest and Denham until 12:19. Wrong. At 12:51, Karen and John and the Lexus are seen right in front of the library on Washington Street. Before 12:18, they should have gotten to Oakdale and Cedar Crest. Even if we grant them the margin of being lost, right, and not knowing where they are, the fact that you're trying to say that at the start of the end time, 3 flights activity shown on the map based on the reference from 12:22:14 to 12:24:37, the correlation between the health and the health demonstrates that the vehicle was traveling from Oakdale. No, sorry. And that explains why Cellebrite didn't put their name or their logo on this report. Because this is a bunch of BS, isn't it? Isn't it? This is a bunch of BS. At 12:24:37, you big muffo, John was 1 second away from collapsing and never moving again. The fact that these people feel that it's okay to play with somebody's murder, the death of somebody. Maybe they have been sold the fact that, well, this was an accident. We never meant to, but we need to pitch it this way because if we don't, then, you know, these people are going to be in bad shape. Maybe that's what they were sold. We don't know what they were told. But for an expert to show up and sit at a trial, now this all makes sense. When I look at this report, and I know that it wasn't Ian Whiffin who prepared it, and I know that he had nothing to do with it as far as Cellebrite goes, right? Cellebrite is not putting their logo, they're not putting their names, they're not putting absolutely nothing in the report that was submitted by Whiffin to the courts. Look at the analysis of oh my God, this guy is just amazing. So when they submitted this, first of all, it's UTC time, right? The whole report, they had to convert it. And not only that, then they also used it as far as Celsius and not Fahrenheit. So it's almost like, okay, do you know who your client is? Because you're working for a Norfolk County District Attorney, which is located in Massachusetts, and they are in America. They use Fahrenheit. They don't use UTC time. But you know why they didn't adjust the data and put it exactly where it needed to be? Because it is part of how they meant to perplex everybody. They meant to confuse everybody. So it would show that the level of complexity on this was so high that it would be impossible for them not to figure out that Karen didn't do this. I mean, on the 28th, right? If we look at the 28th, on January 29th, let's look at January 29th. It says 0013. So let's assume that this is 12:13, right? On January 29th. The battery is what? 82 degrees. But by then, Karen and John were where? Inside the Lexus that was parked by the Walgreens parking lot. They had just gotten inside the car, as testified by Karina Kolikitas, that she saw Karen going on the driver side and John going on the passenger side, and they jumped on their Lexus and off they went. Right? So inside the Lexus, of course, the battery temperature is going to be 82 degrees. Even at 22, he had already gotten out of the car, but it was 82 degrees. So from 82, he went to 77, right? 5 degrees difference. And he was already out of the car. By 12:37, it's 72 degrees. But guess what? Karen wasn't there. Karen was gone at 12:25, 12:26. Even if we push it to 12:29, which is the time that we see here in front of the Canton Library, the battery temperature on John's cell phone is 72 degrees. Do you think he was inside or outside? There is a trigger event that happened at 1:36 in the morning. Okay, and the phone pretty much disappeared after that. The trigger event was that when the phone actually disappeared, which was around 12:37, I want to say that it was 12:32:16, right? Which was when the last 36 steps concluded. What was I gonna say? Yeah. When the last 6 steps concluded, the phone was placed on airplane mode. But at 1:36, that phone was entered into a Faraday bag. And that's why there is a trigger event at 1:36 in the morning. And I will also die on that hill. We can talk about it more. And if you wanted to, and I can explain why I believe that, look at this. Why I believe that happened. So they came from here, then took Maplecroft first, right? Cedar Crest, and then from Cedar Crest they turned to Maplecroft, and then Maplecroft sort of like curves around and then becomes Oakdale, and then from Oakdale they turn again, which they should have turned over here, but they didn't. So they turn again and they go this way. They missed the turn to Fairview. They go over here, but guess where Ryan Nagel is? Right here waiting for them. They turn around, do the 3.4-point turn, and they meet Ryan Nagel in the corner of right there of Cedar Crest and Fairview, which is right there. And then they go brooped, and they stopped in front of 34 Fairview. Oh, you didn't see it. I'm sorry. Hold on. Right there. See? Oops, missed the turn, and then go into a driveway, do a 3.4 turn, go back this way, and stop because Ryan Nagel is right here, and he's making a left. So Karen stops, she's making a right, and then she turns right, and she stops where? At 34 Fairview. So this battery temperature situation is, and then you ask Ian Whiffin, right? You ask him, hey, Mr. Whiffin, so don't you think that the battery temperature is relevant when you are investigating a murder? Especially if you're trying to determine whether the, what do you call it? Whether the, oh my God. Whether the phone, whether the phone is inside or outside. I mean, you would think that battery temperature would give you a hint, right? At least to put it on your report, right? And pass it to the investigators because you want to tell investigators, right? You want to tell them. You want to tell them that the battery temperature at given times, especially after 12:37 in the morning, is still 72 degrees. At 12:45, it's still 66 degrees, indicating what? What is it indicating? It's indicating that it's indoors. So the difference between 12:13 and 12:22 is merely 5, right? 5 degrees difference. Obviously, he gets out of the car. He had been at 82 degrees. So there's a gradual going down from 82 to 77. but it still remained between the 77 and the 72 from 12:22 until 12:37. Right? That's 15 minutes. But he didn't think that it was relevant. He didn't think it was relevant because it wasn't convenient. It wasn't, I mean, it would destroy, it would literally destroy. Oh my God. Wait. Let me say, wait. 65. Okay, wait, inside. Yeah. Standing Stones, long time no see, sweetheart. How are you? You're doing okay? So that would destroy the entire thing. And then if they were to have say, well, given the exact calculations, even though there is sort of like, you know, there's minutes of discrepancies here, right? And there's 12 minutes of inaccuracy, and there's this and that, and we're taking into consideration the error margins and all of that. But, you know, based on the actual data and the actual calculations, Karen Reed left 34 Fairview by 12:25, right before 12:26. Why? Because we have a picture. Yes, here. We have a picture of her right in front of the Canton Library at 12:39:02. But you know what happened was we didn't have that video available. We didn't have the extended video available from the waterfall. We didn't have the surveillance video of the Canton Park, of the Canton Library either. We didn't have the surveillance video from the waterfall parking lot either. We didn't have the parking lot video from Canton PD either. So all of the stuff that comes about after all of this stuff happens, what did it do? It prevented that this whole case should have been kaput, and turn around and said, whoa, we need to redirect this. You guys have questions to answer, man. Because did you see the footage release on Karen's second arrest? Those troopers are... No, what happened? Which one is it? What happened? Who released it? Did they show it? You know, I have 4 video files on this dump, FOIA dump, and I have not been able to get to it first yet. So I still have a lot of work to do. Oh yeah, but then let's look at this one for a minute too. If you tell me who has the new footage, oh, then I probably have it. I probably have it on the file. I just need to get to it. But if somebody already shared it and showed it on YouTube, let me know. Worth a watch? Really? Well, tell me who showed it so I can just stream it, because I'll share it. But I wanted to show you, if indeed Karen left at 12:25, how do you explain that at, is it 1? It's 12. Wait, explain this one to me. Locked, in focus. But he was still there, right? At that time, he was pretty much, he had already collapsed, right? But then look at how he organizes this. There's no order. He's got 00, 00, 24, 28, right? There's no order. It's almost like it jumps, because he's trying not to give out that when Karen wasn't there, the device is locked. When Karen isn't there, the device is again unlocked. John is already down. And device locked, device unlocked. How did they do that? If John has already collapsed and is on the floor and is not moving, and you guys are not rendering help, and Karen is gone, how is the device locked at 12:29? How is the device unlocked? What were they doing? Trying to use his beat up face so they could unlock his Face ID? Like, when you look at it from a raw point of view, understanding when was the last time that John was up and alive? When was the last time that Karen must have been outside? When was the last time that this and that, and comparing it with Jen McKay's movements and health data, how she froze. She literally froze. Then you put this one. This one gives you a different sort of picture. And it's like, motherfuckers. It's like, damn muffos. Dang muffos. But do you know why the device unlocked? Why the device on and whatever? Because Karen was calling. If you pair this information with this, look. Power button was logged. 12:29:53. Now let's look here. 12:29:44:51. End call. Incoming call. Do you see it? From who? And those were all the calls that she actually, those were the calls that they deleted. Because what they were trying to do was access the damn phone. And these people fail to understand that. How do they fail to understand that? Specific Proctor, what a dick. Oh my God. And then new footage. Yeah, so I have the entire file, Standing Stone. And I opened the community thing, the community page, whatever on the YouTube thing. I'm going to put my, he's going to look it up. Oh, it could have been. If it's Loophole Lawyer, I'll do it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Yes, I have the entire file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the email. Well, let me do this. That's the email to the channel. You guys are more than welcome to. There you go. If anybody emails me that, that they need the entire file, it is huge. It comes on a yeah, I'll email it. But I'm looking for Loophole Lawyer. I'm looking for the video. Hold on. On YouTube. And let's see. It has to be one of his most recent ones, right? So, oh my God, new release video. So let's see. Wait. Let's look. I'm going to share this one instead. I found it. Guys, write down the emails. Is freeze frame pane out. I can remember. Where did Charity go? Okay, there she is. Okay, I'm gonna show this. I haven't seen it, so let's watch. And I'm gonna.
Am I spending the night in jail?
You can't keep asking me questions without me answering, okay?
Nope, nothing shady about turning your body camera off as you're entering somebody's house to search for their personal items.
Just so you're aware, you have a right to remain silent. All right, here's all our medication and shoe wear. All right, brown bag. I'm gonna turn off my camera here.
What?
Me at all right now?
No.
Sorry, guys.
Can I use the ladies' room? I also have a colostomy bag.
She's more concerned she looks like on TV. Just remember dropping on my knees and laying on my lawn, like crying. Does it. Tough. Then you gotta put that in your corner, double lock. I saw those things. I'm like, that's brilliant.
Where can I put my pants on?
At the barracks. Your parents can come over here and retrieve anything.
Just let him handcuff you, please.
He's shaking.
We'll get clothing for you, Karen. We'll get clothing for
I'm in my
you.
pajamas. I don't even have shoes on.
How did you respond to Bird saying, "Good, no ass bitch"?
I laughed.
Thought that was funny, did you, Trooper Proctor? Thought that was funny?
It was unprofessional of me. That's something I shouldn't have done.
Well, I think we all know it was unprofessional. It was a lot of things. I'm asking you, did you think it was funny?
Well, look who it is, our favorite Massachusetts State Trooper Yuri Bukhenic. We have new exclusive body cam of them arresting Karen Reed for the second time. Let's watch. And there's a second favorite former trooper, Michael Proctor, getting ready to make the arrest of Karen Reed. Let's keep watching.
What kind of car was that?
Outside? Yeah. Doors open to the back. She's with them at the back door. She's in the house, though.
Oh my God.
We'll get clothing for you, Karen. We'll get
I'm
clothing
in
for
my
you.
pajamas. I don't even have shoes on.
You got footwear. You got
These are slippers. And
Alright,
you call the cameras. I'm sure they're going to film me in my pajamas.
Get your clothing. Just let him handcuff you, please.
I'm being charged with second-degree murder now?
That's correct.
Can I get medication?
Yes, listen. We did this before. Everything worked out just
Yeah,
fine.
but I have no idea what this is about now.
This is about the same exact
Wasn't
incident.
that her
Karen
phone?
Reed was arrested once before,
Wait,
but this
she
is
had a phone in her hand. Is that her phone?
the second arrest for which they upgraded the charges to second-degree murder. Let's keep watching.
No, we're gonna get you medication. Where's the medication?
Can I use the ladies' room? I also have a colostomy bag.
I understand. We're gonna get all that for you.
Oh my God.
Yep. Just like last time, we're gonna take care of it.
Where,
What do you need
don't
for
put the
medication?
phone in your freaking
You
pocket.
can't keep asking me questions without me answering, okay?
That's Yuri Bukhenic.
Yuri Bukhenic.
And that does not sound like the guy that we saw on the stand struggling with every single question. And right now he's telling Karen that she can't keep asking her questions. The ironic thing is she's about to ask him multiple questions in multiple lawsuits, and he's about to get sued by her personally.
I asked you a question. What type of medication do you need
I need
that you need right now?
I need medication. I need some personal bathroom items.
Okay, what type of medication and where is it that we can get it for you?
Up in my drawer by my bed. And I need medications in the bottom drawer of my bathroom.
That's the stuff by your bedside?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's in the bathroom?
Can I have normal shoes, please, so I'm not on TV looking like this?
Oh my God.
Yes.
That's very kind of Yuri Bukhenic to allow Karen to change her shoes, but they look fine to me.
I'll get that for you.
I can't put
Hold on. What about the shoe wear?
You hold on.
anything, but can I? These are I don't even have underwear. Can I put pants on?
What? Again, your parents can come over here and retrieve anything.
But I don't want to be on Channel 4 in my pajamas. This is.
I wouldn't worry about the news.
Oh my God.
Listen to tough guy Michael Proctor telling Karen not to worry about the news right now, but oh, the sweet irony as Michael Proctor's text messages, including many racist ones and sexist ones, are about to be disclosed thanks to news reporting and, of course, all the law tubers in our community.
Like I said.
Yeah,
all right. There's nobody out
every other time.
There's nobody out there, so I'm gonna get that medication for you. And
Can I put hands
anything?
on, please?
Can you just step aside, please?
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna turn off my camera here.
He's going through her purse and turned off her camera and then oh my
nothing
God.
shady about turning your body camera off as you're entering somebody's house to search for their personal items.
I'm at the foot of my bed. Can I take a pair of
Sergeant
jeans?
will go get them. In the meantime, let's follow you. Let's follow this trooper right here, all right?
Where can I put my pants on?
At the barracks.
Can I put them on before I go out of my house, please?
That's not part of our procedure.
Well, look at that. The Massachusetts State Troopers do have a procedure for their troopers, and apparently old Michael Proctor is a stickler for them.
Once
Shouldn't I put pajamas?
you have a chance to change.
Through the barracks.
Wow. Yep. I hope she gets them.
Just so you're aware, you have a right to remain silent. Refuse to speak. Anything we say can be used against you in court. You have the right to tell a lawyer before answering any question. And have him or her with you during questioning.
It is
You're not a Florida lawyer or want one. A lawyer will be provided by the Commonwealth for question and with prosecuting. You may answer questions now in ways that may give up your right to counsel, your right to remain silent. If you decide to talk to me, you still have the right to stop at any time and you read. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
See me at all right now?
No.
What a boss move by Karen. Proctor reads her rights, and then he asks, do you wish to speak to me now? And with one beautiful word, she shuts him right down.
Yep.
No.
Have a seat there for me. I'm just gonna buckle you in, okay?
Uh-oh, it doesn't appear that old Yuri Bukhenic lived up to his promise that he would allow Karen to change her shoes.
Don't tell me this gets any worse.
This is amazing. We catch Proctor with some small talk. Does anyone know what he's actually saying here?
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, especially in the dark. It's no good. Yeah. No, it's not. No, not at all. Then you gotta put that in your corner, double lock. I saw those things. I'm like, that's brilliant.
Still not sure what Proctor's talking about here, but if you do, let me know down in the comments.
What did I think of that? Yeah. She's more concerned she looks like on TV.
Former Trooper Michael Proctor criticizing Karen Reed for wanting to look good on camera. However, he better heed her advice because he's about to be one of the main stories for years to come on local and national news.
We didn't even know about it.
Here it's clear they're talking about Karen's claim that the troopers tipped off the local news before coming to arrest her. Michael Proctor grabbing his butt there. I'm not sure why he was so critical of Karen Reed's ass when he doesn't seem to have much of an ass either.
Yeah, she's a babe. Weird Fall River accent, though. No ass.
Within hours of that first trial ending, Michael Proctor was relieved of duty by the Massachusetts State Police. He was later fired.
Who are you writing to?
My good buddies that I've been friends with since first grade.
And then Bird decides to chime in.
My good buddies.
Good. No ass bitch. Right?
Yes, that's what he wrote. Canton hasn't had a homicide in about 20 years. So they're naturally interested. Just regrettable messages.
How did you respond to Bird saying, good, no ass bitch?
I laughed.
Thought that was funny, did you, Trooper Proctor? Thought that was funny?
It was unprofessional of me. That's something I shouldn't have done.
Well, I think we all know it was unprofessional. It was a lot of things. I'm asking you, did you think it was funny?
No, according to my response at the time, apparently. But in all the content and the messages, what you don't see is a conspiracy.
What do you see?
I see someone who's caught up in the moment of investigating, a fellow police officer and just saying inappropriate things.
Can you see why people called you sexist and misogynist?
Cunt, absolutely.
It's an ass. He's an ass.
I'm still recording, just to let you know. Okay.
Nope, nothing shady about informing your fellow troopers that you're still recording. Of course, that's code to them to not say anything that they don't want because it will be on recording for us to obtain.
Yeah, I didn't. This only goes on with
Medication and sugar.
All right, brown bag.
I'm gonna turn off my camera here.
Okay. Off.
Again, nothing shady about turning your body camera off, but we did get to see a little bit more of the actual body cam footage thanks to the latest FOIA production that was made in response to a request by someone in our community. But no matter what, we will never, ever stop producing our videos until the real killer,
Brian Higgins,
is brought to justice.
It's not Brian Higgins. Jeez. That was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. Those detectives in the Sean Ellis case were around where we hang out. Oh yeah. And what was new in this footage? It's like I ran into cops like this when I lived in Rosendale. And it's like you want to run the other way, right? Like, let's just go. I want to know how they got their nicknames. And it's funny, but there's always funny stories behind nicknames, right? And it says one of the cops' nephew would rat people and then get caught doing crimes and get nothing. Yeah. Ship is a Proctor. Yeah. Yuri should be steamhead. Yeah. Or jarhead. He could easily be a jarhead because he was. I mean, he's a typical, empty-headed. There was a time, when the Marine Corps lets you go, or when you get out, let's say that you have an appointment and you get out, right? You have to go through a process depending on where you are. If you're assigned overseas, you have to go back to Quantico. Well, there's a whole stage of things. They teach you how to live because most of the kids, when they're recruited at 18, years old, 19 years old. They have been living under, it's almost like he was jumped on at the bottom. Really? Uh-oh. He was jumped on at the bottom. You're kidding me. Sherry D, are you seeing that? Do you remember when we were talking yesterday? And I told you that at 12:37, at 12:24:38 seconds, he didn't move anymore. Remember what I told you yesterday? What's your theory? Who killed? Well, my theory is that by 12:37, the last sort of steps that he took up, the elevation movements that it shows, right? It shows him almost like trying to go up the stairs. And then at 1 second later, he collapses. So if he was jumped on the butt, that makes sense. That makes completely sense. And that's exactly what I was telling Sherry D yesterday. So we were discussing, it's the cellar steps, right? And then we enter into this conversation back and forth. I'm going, I want to say that the steps were to the right. And she goes, no, the steps were sort of like in the back of the hand towards the left where the flagpole is. And we were I was looking at the blueprints of the house because you remember that I had that dream about Higgins too, right? That I found that there was news that Higgins killed himself and he shot himself. And I was saying, oh my God, no, now they're going to blame it on Higgins and it wasn't Higgins. Do you remember? But he was hit on the back of the head with a log from the barbells. Oh. Chelsea basement stairs, bulkhead stairs are different. Yeah, I think, yeah. It's not. He was hit on the back of the head with log from barbells. Okay. That's what you thought? In the beginning, I thought it was the back of a gun. It is my take on. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. We all put sort of theories together based on the information we have, right? But I've had a working theory early on, almost 3 years ago. I've had the same working theory. And then that working theory sort of changed and got adjusted when the new evidence came out right after trial 1. So the minute that I was able to download all of that and, looking and watching Lana and all of this stuff, then that theory changed. It got adjusted. It had to be because new stuff came out and I needed to support it with the evidence. So then the new theory is born. And then after all of this dump of this FOIA stuff and all these videos, and I'm able to look at these cars and put together sort of find the common denominator on the lies. And then focus on what is it that they're making such an effort to coincide among each other? Where are they trying to make an effort so it matches, so they coincide, so they all say the same thing? And looking into that, and then looking at videos where they are at given times, it's almost impossible not to believe what happened. So I don't think that Higgins had anything to do with it. I think, just like Caitlin said, Higgins was there. Absolutely, he was there, and he knows what happened. Yep, but he wasn't involved in the punching. He wasn't one of the people who was involved on the fight or the punching. He probably got there right when, towards the end. Who knows? That we will never know. But did John carry his gun off? Yeah, I tried to look for it at CF McCarthy's and see if I saw a bulky area either on his pants, on the back of his pants, or in the front of his pants. Like when Kevin Albert walks into, you saw that, right? Standing Stones. When Kevin Albert walks into the waterfall, he's got his gun on his front pocket. Did you see it? On the front right pocket. So, but I have a feeling that that this is between Chris. Colin was involved. I know that Matt was there for sure. I want to say that Kevin Albert was in the mix, but I have no way to prove it yet. There's nothing that has surfaced other than the waterfall that puts Kevin Albert there that I have been able to get my hands on. I want to say that Lank was there, and I want to say, and the reason why I say that Lank and Kevin were there is because in the morning after, when Lieutenant Kelleher called Josie, basement stairs going down, not the bulkhead stairs as you refer to the cellar stairs. Okay. Oh, I see. I may be 100% wrong. And I may be too. It's like, how do we know, right? All we're doing is throwing out, based on what we find, we're putting like little pieces together and trying to make sense of it all. But in my opinion, Higgins pulled, and I think so too. I think that he was there. And I think that there were text messages that were curated that were in possession on Higgins' phone. And for some reason, either it was agreed upon or something happened, but they were not shared. They did not come to light. But I know for a fact that those text messages that Higgins provided that were procured for law enforcement, just like Matt Kelch said the other day, they were tailored, curated, and procured exactly to what they wanted to provide. Not an inch less, not an inch more. So, Lieutenant Kelleher ended up calling Gallagher to come from Milton and figure out what the heck was happening at John O'Keefe's of One Meadows. Gallagher ended up driving by One Meadows Ave before he came to 34 Fairview. Why wouldn't he call Lank, who lives around the corner in Oakdale? Why didn't he call Kevin Albert, knowing that this is his brother's lawn? Who knows if something happened to Brian Albert? Unless he knew nothing happened to Brian Albert. And unless he knew, well, let me leave these two out of this because, who knows, right? But why not call those two detectives that are right there and call Gallagher instead? The 4H that Lucky saw, there's two 4Hs. There's so many 4Hs because every single Canton PD, a lot of the Canton PD surveillance vehicles were 4Hs, right? There was an older Ford Escape that was also parked at 34 Fairview, which was white. There was a 4H that was parked the morning of, and it was on 34 Fairview's driveway. There was a Chris Albert used to drive one too at one point. Kevin Albert used to drive one too at one point. So it's like, I know that whichever the 4H was belonged to the Alberts, because Lucky Logren said, what did he say? I did not call it in as a courtesy to the Alberts, right? If it wasn't a courtesy to the Alberts, if it wasn't a 4H that belonged to the Alberts, why would he not be calling it in as a courtesy to the Alberts? It wasn't their car, right? The reason why he didn't call and extended the courtesy to the Alberts was because he knew that that 4H belongs to the Albert. Now, Kelleher also has a Grand Cherokee, and a lot of people talk about, the Grand Cherokee. Don't forget that for the longest time, I have believed that Higgins' Jeep was nose in into the Kelleher's driveway. And they owned a Grand Cherokee. And who said Grand Cherokee instead of Cherokee at the during testimony? It was Higgins. Did he get confused with the Grand Cherokee that is owned by the Kellehers? Who knows? We don't know. But what we know is that Grand Cherokee, what is it? Oh my God. I don't know if he got confused. Just like he got confused with the text messages. Loophole Lawyer was saying the other day, well, he got confused and he said that the text message that he sent, and he's reading it, and he's whatever, is, where are you? What if the actual text message was, "Where are you?" What if they curated the text message to look like it was, "Are you coming here?" So you would match better with, what do you call it? With Jen's text. What if that was the case? Right? But then everything is just, it is so much time and so much information that has to do with this case that it's almost impossible to be able to talk about everything and not focus on the fact that it is impossible that these people had nothing to do with it. It is nearly impossible that they didn't have anything to do with it. But what I believe is that between the time that, what's his name? That Ryan Nagel pulled up right behind Karen, and his purpose was one only, and it was to prevent Karen, the lights behind Karen, so Karen will move forward, right, closer to the mailbox and get out of the area of the back, because they knew that something was going on and they wanted her to be pushed forward out to get out of there. I really don't know that to this date. I don't know that was there dialogue between Ryan and Julie. The only two that can testify to that is who? Brian and Julie. Nobody can say that it was it true or was it not true, right? Because why? Because they can't, it's impossible that the brother and the sister are going to what? Accuse each other? You can't. So it's their word against everything else. It is very possible that Juliana Nagel didn't even get out of the house, that she didn't even have to say anything or nothing, right? Absolutely nothing. She didn't have to get out at all and say nothing, because what he was doing was following who? He was following Colin Albert. He was going where he knew he was supposed to go. And that's the entire thing. That's all they needed to do, was follow them. And if that's the case, and that's why they were there, right? If they were there because they were going to show support to the kids, Juliana Nagel, Brian Albert Jr., Colin Albert, and everybody else, if that was the case, they were not there in regards to anything that had to do with John O'Keefe or whatever. For all they knew, they could have known that there was going to be a fight, and that's what needed to happen, because Colin was going to earn his tattoo on his chest. What do we know? We don't know. We don't know. At the same time, I don't think that any of the people that were at the house with Brian Albert Jr. knew either of what was going on outside the house, right? I don't think they knew. Why would they know? They were celebrating a birthday party with Brian Albert Jr. inside, right? They were inside the house. Let's pretend that we believe that they were inside the house and that they knew. But I'll tell you who knew. Juliana Nagel knew. She knew. She's a wannabe Albert. She knew. She knew. This caught Sarah Levinson by surprise and almost caused her to lose her license. And she's still at risk of losing her license depending on what happens at the civil trial. But if they departed Washington Street, and I'm going to switch in a tangent here, by 12:13, take a picture of that thing. At 12:15, they arrive at the Canton Library. This is Karen's Lexus. Okay. 12:15:51, they're already crossing Sherman and Washington. By 12:17:30 to 12:18, they're already at Denham and Cedar Crest Street. at that corner, but they missed that turn. So by 12:19:35, they're already Maplecroft, which actually curves around and turns into Oakdale, right? And then they already go into Oakdale, get into Cedar Crest, miss the turn, go around, do the 3.4 turn, and at 12:21:05, they are at Cedar Crest and Fairview. And that's when they meet Ryan Nagel and everybody else there. By 12:21:10, 34 Fairview Road is when John gets out of the car. Whoever was on Karen's tail on that Lexus, whoever was driving behind, whether it was Ryan Nagel or Dantano, they saw at least a shadow of somebody getting out of that car and heading towards the house, even if the 6'5" tall Yukon Denali was blocking the view and they could not see who was it. By 12:26, Karen leaves. John is already down by 12:24:38, right? And then you see her at 12:20:02. I'm sorry, that's a boo-boo. 12:20:02. Oh no, this is the result of my analysis. So she's in front of the Canton Library. And by 12:32:12:35, she's already arriving, sort of getting to 1 Meadows, because she connects to the Wi-Fi at 12:36. So my point with all this is that Guarino, Whiffin, Hyde, talking about hamburgers and pizzas and flying cupcakes, right, could have done a whole better job with the level of integrity that is expected in a murder trial situation. And I'm saying murder, but initially, I truly believe a fight went wrong. A fight went wrong, and he collapsed, fell, and hit his head. But at the same time, let's stop and think about it, because nobody asked about this. If there was going to be a fight between John, let's say that he didn't die, right? And it was just punches here and there. What did they think it was going to happen the next morning? Have anybody thought about that? I mean, if they would have just gotten in a fight and he wouldn't have fallen backwards. Yeah, and Nicole's Cadillac is missing because Caitlin had to take the dog. She had to leave. Tristan never come back and got her. And he talks about, yeah, my high maintenance girlfriend. Bullshit. You're saying that to attain some sort of acceptance and laughs and being a comedian and get some sort of rapport with the jurors. This is not having anything to do with oh yeah, I love Grand Cherokees, Standing Stones. It has nothing to do with your high maintenance whatever. Nobody that owns a Grand Cherokee or a Cherokee or a Wrangler is going to get any of those cars mixed up. They are very unique and true to their wheelbase, to the style, to the aerodynamics, to the lines, to everything, to the weight, to how they ride, to everything. Nobody that owns any products that belong to Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram will get any of those models confused. So if Higgins got confused with a Grand Cherokee, it's because he parked at Kelleher's driveway and he remembered the Grand Cherokee that was parked there that belongs to his wife. If you look at the ABC interview with the Alberts and the Matt guy, you're going to see when he puts the view on the camera and he shows the town of Canton and he shows Kelleher's driveway, guess what you're going to see there? A Grand Cherokee. So it's like, are these people stupid? We're going to find out anyways. Eventually, we're going to figure out who did this, because all these cars and everybody else, we're going to be able, yeah, a lot of stuff has surfaced. And it is impossible not to go back and sort of tweak and adjust your theory here and there, right? But Higgins didn't do this. I don't know if you guys saw when Matt Kelch ended up calling the glare. And that was back in, I want to say, February 2024, maybe? February 2024. Hey, listen. He has, listen, there's plenty of fish in the sea, right? these texts were curated. He's not asking the glare. He's saying, these texts were curated, man. Those texts were curated. With some sort of like, feeling so sure about himself. Yeah, we're almost done. Like I felt every time, sometimes I have like this niche, this group of like people that I've known for, well, I would say like Sherry D, Standing Stones. And don't forget, we started out, how did I start out? I started out as a bees in the chat, right? Bees in the trap, bees in the trap. I started out as a chatter, right? I was in the chat. I was listening to Melanie. I was listening to Emily Baker. I was listening to Andrea Booker. I was listening to The Lawyer I was listening to even Total Boy and The Glare and JFK and Sean McDonough. I was nose deep listening. I mean, to a point that my husband says, it's like, I've never seen you. I could be mad right now, he would say, but it's been a while since I saw you so involved and so dedicated to something. It's like, this is inspiring. And I'm going, what do you mean? I've always been like that. And he goes, no, you're like really interested in this thing. And what caught me was the injustice. The fact that I knew that she was being framed. I knew what they were doing and I couldn't say or do anything. And I'm going, oh my God. So the minute that I could, I did. And I started like using my AK-47 on Twitter and just blasting anything and everything that I would see, right? But what I'm trying to tell you all is like, there is no, time is of the essence. I understand. And sometimes, we all, like, patience is not a virtue that a lot of us have. But what I'm trying to say is, the only thing it's going to take is time. It's just a matter of time. Do you remember that song by, who was it? It's just a matter of time. No, no, no. Who was it? Oh my God. Somebody sings it. It's a country thing. But it's just a matter of time. It's gonna come. And we're gonna get, and it's gonna go shit. And we're gonna go crap. Missed opportunity on part. I don't think, no, well, I think that what happens is it's like the same thing as like when Higgins called JFK, right? It's the same thing. Hey, listen, you guys. Hey, I like what you guys do, right? But listen, these are two decorated dudes, right? Is this Higgins? Higgins? It catches you by surprise. Now, the difference between when Higgins called JFK and Matt Kelch called the Glare is, it took a second or two for JFK to figure it out. Don't forget, he's an artist, right? His ear is like filed, as almost like as a cutting knife. So Randy Travis, yes, stop doing that. I'm talking about something, and then I get distracted and then I forget. So his ear is cut as a knife, right? It's very sharp. So he cut it, and that's why he went immediately. Is this Higgins? He knew it. He knew it sounded like him. It didn't matter if people said, no, that wasn't Higgins. Oh, yeah, bullshit. That was Higgins. There is no denying that was Higgins. Now, the difference with the Glare is when the person who called into the Glare wasn't Higgins. He talked like Higgins. He's Higgins' best friend. But even when he says, you remember when that Kelch guy, what did he say? Kelch? You mean Phelps? Phelps is the swimmer. He didn't even know, Glare didn't even know who Matt Kelch was at that point. He didn't even remember, or maybe didn't see the testimony when Higgins said, my friend Matt Kelch, he's an ATF agent too. He helped me at the mess. He is in forensics, whatever. And then we see him that he testified at the Aaron Hernandez thing, and we were able to confirm that was him. Yep, curated texts. So, and those are love hearts for you, Josie. Thank you. I love it. This has been fun. Oh my God, guys, did you know that we have been doing this for 3 hours and 3 minutes and 39 seconds? I have to finish up some work. Yeah. And yeah, do what you got to do. But you can catch up later. If not, I'll probably be doing lives off and on between today and tomorrow, because if I need to go back to this, what do you call it? To these pages and whatever, I'm just going to go quiet. I probably won't talk, but I will audit and I'll try to go to these documents and highlight everything that I find live. That's what I'm going to try to do and show it. A lot of people don't have access to this document. And some of the people that have had access to the documents, I didn't read it. Those are okay. That they, it's a pain in the ass to download them, unzip them, and save them. And if anybody goes into that site, do not put your real name, just put whatever. He's amazing. Cherry D, you're holding me down. That's how JFK calls it. But yeah, it's been a minute. And I can't get up he thought it was the swimmer, man. I'm going, oh my God. But oh my God, that was so funny. But it is what it is. You can't, what do we do, man? We just got to write it out. Now, before we go, I was going to show you this. Wait, let me show you this. Oh, wow. Standing Stone is going to miss it, but he's going to see it later. Or somebody tell him. I'm going to show you this. Can anybody tell me, what does that mean? Between 00 and 0700, there were 23 incoming and outgoing messages from this device. There is no evidence of any messages being deleted. And these are from what? I want to know what the time is. Like Jen McCabe, where to? That was John to Jen, where to? So at 16 what? Oh, no. No. What did I do? Oh, dang hand. Here we go. Are you guys there? Wait, yeah. Okay, so where to? So when? And whose heart? Hey, are you okay? Please answer. These are incoming hearts, outgoing hearts. Brian Higgins, are you coming here? Here, Jen McCabe. Pull behind me. At 12:31. Yeah, you already knew that he was dead. I'm not buying it. Hello? Where are you? Hello? I'm going home. See you later. And that's Karen. So that's Jen, and Brian Higgins. Why is that name redacted? I love you. 5 o'clock. I wonder, let me see something. So let's play. Is it Kaylee? Nope. Is it Jen? Jesus Christ. Does anybody remember the page number where it was? It doesn't really matter. And another thing that I don't know if you guys had seen, I hadn't seen it, but this is something that there was a post that Tim Albert posted a post, and it was in regards to pretty much Jennifer McCabe's daughter. That Tim Albert sort of like threatened people and said that you better back up my family, because if you don't, something. So talk about a threat. So that was, they missed the opportunity sometimes that they had, because when Carrie did what she did, technically not intentionally, they should have they should have done something about charges right there and then, one by one. When Tim Albert did what he did, that he actually said, well, yeah, Matt Phelps was the guy, yeah, that she said Tim harassed people or tried to intimidate people. They should have called him apart and do something, aside, and do something right there and then. They are missing opportunities. I don't think it was Sean McCabe. I actually think that I think it's Tim Albert that posted something. I have the post from, I hadn't seen the one from Tim, but I have copies of the ones from Sean McCabe. Let me tell you, they're scary. These people have they have no flag. They don't understand why would you do that? What drives you to do any of that? Why would you threaten people like that? But then one of the Sean McCabe's texts almost describes what happened to John. It's almost like he's describing what happened to John. Piece by piece, little by little. I'm going, seriously? But, we have a lot of work to do. But it's been about 3 hours and 15 minutes. We have to take a break at some point. You all have to take a break. You got to get up and move and move around. So we'll come back to it. We're not going anywhere, and we're not going to quit until we find out who killed John O'Keefe. And it is not John Patrick Higgins. I got to remember to go back to the description and thank Loophole Lawyer for I stream a portion of his thing and do that. Anybody else that I forgot? I forgot. So, but yeah, I got to do that. Okay. Well, guys, thank you for making me company. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your time. Let me know. Don't forget that we opened up the community thing. You can post your questions there. Even if I'm not around a computer, I can check those anytime, anywhere I go. So if you need anything, let me know. All right. Thank you all. I appreciate you. Have a good weekend. It's Friday, so let's do something, right? It's a Friday, baby.